The white tiger. This sacred beast stands as one of the legendary 5 spirits within the group of 5 spirits. Among them, the white tiger is the only spirit whose specific habitat has been confirmed. The donkey is said to make its home upon the summit of Mount Cheong. It is further explained that nobody truly understands exactly when these spiritual entities, known as the 5 souls, first arrived upon this land or the manner in which they were originally created. They are believed to exist for immense periods of time, and when their inner spiritual power reaches its zenith, they ascend toward the heavens to be reborn as immortals. Acting as Yeo-Woon and God Ark, we race toward Heaven Lake at maximum velocity. Yeo-Woon questions whether the creature actually attempted to ascend into the sky. God Ark, will we remain quiet at the beginning? Yeo-Woon observes the mountain peak looming ahead within the dark forces there and reflects that, despite its bright name, the white tiger appears infinitely dark. God Ark awkwardly clarifies that the ascension failed. Its failure led to a state of rage and hatred that seized control over its entire domain. While turning the area into this, he recalls that specific moment vividly when the sacred entity of Mount Cheong roared in a fit of fury as if it were weeping, even as it transformed into a monster capable of sweeping the entire world toward destruction. Yeo-Woon gazes at his own arm and remarks that he has witnessed something quite similar before, referring specifically to the heavenly demon sword. He recounts how, upon first obtaining the weapon, he saw a vision in a fantasy world where a man who considered himself a chief severed the horn of a creature that was on the verge of becoming a dragon, which occurred because he mistook it for a mere illusion. He had assumed the serpent was only changing to a black color. He never truly anticipated it would evolve into a monster that could shake both heaven and earth in such a manner. When he thinks back on the entire white serpent shifting to that dark hue in a single moment, he wonders if the serpent he saw fell into a state resembling this current monster. Yet, with only a single motion, it had split ahead into dozens of individual pieces. The more knowledge he gains, the more he understands that the man's martial arts had genuinely reached the status of a sovereign. He is speaking of Cheong Ma, who was the original founder of the heavenly demon divine cult. Yeo-Woon then questions God Ark Wui regarding whether the white-winged tiger might also have been interfered with during its own attempt to ascend. God Ark Wui is visibly taken aback and says nothing in response, merely staring straight ahead. Yeo-Woon muses to himself that there must be many hidden stories behind these events and that asking further questions will likely be difficult. God Ark Wui finally informs him that the creature lost its closest friend roughly 100 years ago, and that loss is why it became this way. Yeo-Woon, appearing surprised, asks if it was truly a friend, and God Ark Wui answers affirmatively. That particular friend had been known to him for a very long duration and was truly extraordinary. He had even managed to befriend the guardian of Mount Cheong, whom everyone else feared. If he had not perished so abruptly, none of these tragedies would have occurred. God Ark Wui murmurs that the creature, which kept its pact for about a century, has finally transformed into its authentic body. He wonders what exactly drove it to this point. Could it possibly be someone else's influence? A short time earlier, to the east of Mount Cheong, men belonging to the Blade God's 6 martial clan are traveling toward Heaven Lake, where the white tiger resides. We see the mummy-like Huang Hail along with another member of the clan. The other man informs Huang Hail that a massive battle appears to have occurred to the north, and they must not allow this opportunity to pass. Huang Hail responds that there is said to be a location overflowing with spiritual energy situated near the summit. They will reach it soon and should commence their search of that specific area immediately. Upon reaching the top and seeing the lake, they remark that they did not anticipate finding such a vast body of water on a mountaintop. It is truly a mountain that is worthy of the donkey's name. The mummy turns toward his subordinates and orders them to begin searching, noting that the white tiger is reputed to be 3 times the size of a standard tiger, so it should be relatively easy to locate. They follow his orders and set out. Then, they notice an individual engaged in meditation. The men inquire about the person's identity, and another replies, he does not know who it is. However, judging by the specific way the person manages his energy, he seems to be wounded. Suddenly, the white tiger vanishes from their vision and reappears directly behind them. They are completely shocked and confused as to how that could possibly be the white tiger. Furious, it snarls that these filthy bastards have dared to trespass on the mountain and threatens them with its sword, yelling that it will slaughter them all. Hearing the massive roar, the mummy moves toward the noise and commands the others to move forward, calling for his left and right arms while stating that something seems to have happened below. What they witness is the white tiger starting to massacre every single member of the Blade God's 6 martial clan who happens to stand in its way. The white tiger rages as it carries out the slaughter, mocking them for only knowing how to move in large groups and daring them to step forward so it can rip them apart. The mummy and his 2 close companions watch as their subordinates fall. One of them observes that the creature does not speak the Chinese language, suggesting it might be the guardian of this place. Another person remarks on the very unique sword technique, stating it is a specific style he has never encountered before. The mummy believes the sword art is powerful enough to compete with supreme martial arts and wonders if another hidden expert is lurking here. Aside from God Arc Wui, the man standing with the mummy says the current situation cannot be allowed to continue and that they will all die at this rate. He vows to take action personally and charges toward the white tiger. The mummy calls him left arm, but the man tells him not to worry. Lord Huang Hail, the old man's supreme art, actually surpasses his own. The white tiger notices that a very formidable opponent is now approaching. The mummy's left arm attempts a strike from above, but the white tiger successfully blocks the impact. The left arm commands the beast to be silent. The white tiger snaps back in a fit of anger. The left arm then charges a powerful kick and lands it squarely on the white tiger's chest, throwing it several meters back. The white tiger feels the force of the blow, drops down to one knee, and roars in rage, berating the left arm for having the audacity to kick it. The left arm instructs his men to leave the area, saying he intends to kill that bastard, and mutters that he cannot grasp what the creature is saying but feels enraged regardless. Then, he hurls himself at the beast. They clash with their swords ringing out, and the bold fighter shouts with excitement that the sword style is strange, truly bizarre. Yet, he notes that every single movement is intended as a killing blow. He laughs, remarking that this is fun. The white tiger, observing the technique, seems to recognize it and creates distance between them with a powerful strike. The bald man asks why it has suddenly stopped when they were just beginning to enjoy themselves. The white tiger drops its sword into the lake and says that the move is familiar. So it was indeed him. Could they be the ones responsible for killing his friend? The bald man, feeling bewildered, protests that he cannot understand the beast and finds the creature quite frustrating. The white tiger loses its self-control and releases the full extent of its power. The bald man is completely astonished as the creature transforms into a truly enormous beast. A massive blast sends water from the lake flying high into the air, leaving the men of the Blade God's 6 martial clan stunned. The bald man is thrown away and sustains a wound to his arm. The others help him to his feet as the waves move in. The mummy asks if he is doing all right. He replies that he has lost an arm and is certainly not fine. The men spot a dark figure in the water with eyes that glow red and cry out in shock, asking what that thing is. The white tiger has now fully transformed into a beast and emits a roar so incredibly powerful that the ears of the men begin to bleed. The mummy's right arm, in a state of shock, says that a man who was once whole has shifted into a monster like this. What could all of this possibly signify? The bald man shouts at him, asking if he is still unable to see and suggesting that his eyes must be completely useless. The mummy, feeling stunned, notes that with just a single roar, members of the group and the disciples fell, and he wonders what he should do now. The white tiger now possesses 3 tails, and its eyes gleam more fiercely than ever before. The mummy, seeing the beast, asks if that is truly the white tiger. They saw it. Crows rise up into the air, and the mummy and his companions appear like small ants standing beside it. The creature seems completely unstoppable. The mummy adds that the monster appears to exceed 90 meters in size. Well, you simply won't be able to do anything against such a thing.